Why don't you believe in like maternal instincts and women being more nurturing?
Well, I think they have maternal instincts, but...
Doesn't that coincide with...
Well, what does nurturing mean here? Let's start with that. What does nurture mean?
I think being a natural caretaker, being inclined to take care of children and, those in need.
Yeah, no, I dispute categorically. When I look at data for single fathers and single mothers, the single fathers seem to be excellent caretakers. The children live in cleaner houses, have better outcomes, they go to prison less. Almost every outcome, every metric, they do better.
Do you think that's because usually when the father gets the child, it's because the mother was like a really bad mom? And the father is like way better?
No. I think that sometimes they just get them because the mom dies.
Yeah, that's an outlier.
But we can make these comparisons like this, right? So you can follow widows. You can follow men whose wives have died, and then you can follow women whose husbands have died.
Okay,
have you
done this? Though?
And there's been tons of studies which have done this, and you can look at the comparisons, and you can see that the outcomes for single fathers in single father homes are better. And here's why. Here's the number one reason why. It's because of men. It's because of women bringing strange men in. They're usually far more likely, if they're not related to the child, to be abusive towards the child. Men who are raising children, they don't have that problem with women.
But this isn't talking about men and women. This is talking about single mothers and single fathers.
So then wouldn't that prove the point that men are more abusive? And I don't care either way, but just because you said earlier that you don't believe that men are more abusive.
No, it proves that men have a force doctrine which can make a deterrence that women can't. Not that they're more abusive, but that women are far less likely to do something bad to a man's child because he can really significantly hurt her badly. Right?
But is there a study with like mothers and fathers together that shows, because like this study
mothers
is only,
he is right about the outcome of single dads.
Well, yeah, but this is showing single mothers and single fathers. There might be other
Metrics?
Yes, there might be like other outside factors affecting that.
But here's what my argument was. My argument was, no, I'm not willing to concede that more nurturing, if our metric for more nurturing is, kid's healthy, kid is clean, kid feels loved, kid feels safe. I feel like that's all things we would agree nurturing is.
Yeah,
and if that is the case and the metrics for all these children is way better under all of those criteria, then how can I make the claim that women are more nurturing?
Because I think that those claims might kind of like mix together with like your idea of what a man should be, because that's like, if a kid is fed, that's like providing. If a kid feels safe, that's like providing.
Nurturing, yeah. Well, what the hell does nurturing mean?
Nurturing is like love.
Women tend to put more
loved, like
I can tell you,
think
as
a kid feels loved when he's dirty?
No, it's not like it's like words of affirmation. Think of love languages.
You're probably wrong there, though. Do the studies specifically say that the dads keep the kids more clean? Because if I am just guessing, and I do know that you're right about the stats on this, but if I was to guess the variables involved here, like women do tend to put more pressure on, like we're more neurotic. So we're like, they have to be perfectly clean, they have to be this, and that makes us more stressed, and maybe we're like more bitchy and less caretaky.
But it also creates multitasking, so you get less of it done, whereas men do singular tasks better. So the thing is I think that men, I think that their basics would be like, okay, you're fed, you're clean, right? You went to school, you didn't fuck up, it was a good day. Right? I really think that it's probably not going to be too much more complex than that. And by the way, it probably doesn't need to be more complex.
But do you think that maybe like a woman's biological drive to be a caretaker, and like, because we definitely have more anxiety when it comes to things like that.
You may have more of a biological drive to be one, but what we're disputing is whether or not you're better at it.
Yeah.
My dispute here, again, I'll give you my position again. There is not one thing a woman can do that a man can't do equally as good, if not better, but there's multiple things that women cannot do that men can do much better.
So if men could have children, would you date men?
No.
So why? Yes. Okay, so then why are you dating women if the only thing they can do better is have children?
What did I give you?
What
did I give you the criteria here for?
I'm asking you, like, you said that the only... Okay, so why are you with your wife, for example?
You mean the mother of my children?
Yeah, why are you with her?
Because she's the mother of my children and I love her.
Okay, why do you love her?
But for all sorts of different reasons.
Why? Give some examples.
Because she's super smart and she cares a lot about me and she thinks I'm wonderful and et cetera, et cetera,
okay,
et cetera.
there you go.
There I go what? What are you talking about? How does this demonstrate that women are better at any of these tasks than men?
I can give you an example of women being more nurturing.
Wait, you're saying because because she has all of those that I should feel like attracted to men
No,
if
because
they have
why,
those?
okay,
What are you
okay, because
talking
why
about?
wouldn't you be with a man who's better?
Because I don't want to fuck men.
But why don't you want to?
Because they're fucking men. What do you mean?
Why not?
Because
You're not
I'm
attracted
not
to them.
a homosexual.
Yeah, you're not attracted to them, exactly. So the only thing that you think women are better at is having children. So you view.
I'm sorry. You're right. There's
Yes.
two things. I guess women are also better at at men wanting to fuck them over other men.
Okay, so you
win.
So you view
Take the W.
Okay, no, you view your wife as inferior.
Inferior in many tasks, yes.
Inferior in everything but having kids.
Yeah, she's going to be better than me at having children.
And that's it.
But individually, that doesn't mean that individually women can't be better at some tasks than men. So, for instance, my wife's better at writing than I am, right? She has a book. I don't have a book. She's better at all sorts of things than I am. She's better at complex mathematics than me. She's better at music than I am, right? Sucks at all sorts of other things. This is the ultimate red herring you just gave, which is if your wife is better than you at some tasks, then this somehow equates, because at the individual level this is true, that you can demonstrate that there's tasks which women can generally do that men also cannot do just as well as them. You cannot do that.
I think that
It's fallacious argumentation.
That's fair. I think that men are very good and very bad at things. I think they're the best and the worst at things, and women kind of like fall in the middle. So it's kind of hard to like make that
So
distinction.
then you agree with me that there's nothing you can think of at all which women are better at than men, but there's things you can think of that men are better at than women?
I mean, I would have to honestly.
Is that what you just said?
Well, honestly, like I would have to think about that because I think that they're.
Well, think about it. I'll give you time right now.
So back to
Yeah.
the nurturing point,
Yeah.
if you look at divorce stats, when the other partner gets sick, the men leave their sick wives at insane rates. So with that, I mean, like you can't say that's more nurturing. Maybe not to a child, but to their partner.
Well,
In
also-
that regard, women are definitely.
Well, I'm
proven
not
to be more
familiar
nurturing.
with exactly what studies that you're looking at, right? And this could have something to do with how long they've been there. If there was, because women could be more likely, for instance, to conceal sicknesses. They could be more likely, for instance, to conceal certain things which have been going on, which led to certain sicknesses. So there's justification. I don't know because I'm not familiar with the stats that you're citing. There could be all sorts of reasons for this, which have nothing to do with nurturing, but have to do with justification.
Also, careers that
You should
lend
look it up and then
themselves
circle
to
back at some
nurturing-
point.
We should do that, and I'll take a look at the study, sure.
Careers that lend themselves to nurturing and caretaking, like nursing and teaching, do have a much higher
No,
rate of female
hospital,
worker.
they do. I agree. Hospitals are absolutely begging for male nurses, and they're begging like you can't believe for them because they want physically strong men to be able to move patients
But why don't they choose to go into that if they're more nurturing?
because they can make a lot more money doing other things.
Okay, so they're not passionate
not
about
very
being
interested
nurturing.
in- they're
Women
not
are okay. So why don't
particularly
Women
at
can
it.
make a lot of
Yeah,
money
women
doing
can
other
make-
things
What?
too, and they
no,
don't
no,
choose
see,
to.
see,
They don't have a propensity.
Hang on.
For,
This is where we're going to have some disputes. No, they can't. They're not going to go do roofing. They're not going to go do trade
but-
work.
Okay,
they're not
but-
going to go be rocket ship engineers.
Yeah,
they're not
not
going to do any of that
laborers.
shit. They're going to do the exact same shit that they've been doing for 2,000 years, which is nursing, teaching, and serving your
they can go to
beverages.
medical school. They
Go to medical
any of
school
this-
to be nurses
Why don't they go to
Fertility
business
rates
school?
are going down in men.
Why don't they go to business school
because
instead
they're
of
not
doing
interested
nursing?
in having businesses.
There are higher rates
okay, but
of
they do.
graduation.
But why, okay,
I mean,
but why are they more
but they
interested in?
don't.
Okay, I'm asking.
Really,
They do.
they're really not that
Why
interested
are they
in
more
it.
interested in nursing and teaching than in business and
Because
STEM?
because there's an application of what can be done.
I think they also have a
Can
higher
be
propensity
done.
for nurturing
Yeah.
and caretaking.
No, I think it's a limitation on what is possible. What is possible for most women? I don't think
But
most
women
women.
are- it is
hang on, I'll
possible for
answer to
women to
this.
go into medical
I
school.
don't think most women can do roofing. Do you agree or
No,
disagree?
I don't think so.
Okay, you hang
But
on.
that's
you,
a
hang on,
specific
hang on.
example.
I don't think most women can be indoor electricians. I don't think most women can do that. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
I don't think most women can be plumbers.
But those are all labor jobs.
Yeah, so is nursing. Nursing's a labor job.
Side
No.
note, but
But
this is also
women
the
can
reason
go
for the
into
gender pay
STEM.
gap.
What's
And
that?
there are higher rates of graduation rates for women right now than
That's
there are for
always
men.
been the case, even since literally the dawn of the nation. It's always been the case that women had higher graduation rates. Always been the case that they have higher graduation rates. That's never not been the case.
But what I'm
because
saying is-
because physical labor is available to men. That's
But what
why.
I'm saying is they can go into careers that will be more lucrative
They can, but they don't. They don't
because
want
they
to.
have a higher propensity for jobs that include
Yeah,
nurturing.
maybe
and
they want to
caretaking.
go into that because that's where they're wired to, but that still wouldn't demonstrate.
Okay, so that's where they're
hang on,
wired to.
But they still wouldn't demonstrate that they're more so X. So let us pretend for a second, let us assume for a second that we knew immediately that both of us were wired for the same exact amount of empathy. We knew this, right? But you were limited in what the scope was of jobs that you could or couldn't have, and I wasn't. So out of all the ones that you had, you went, oh, well, you know what? I'm pretty high up in empathy, so I think I'll be a nurse because I would really like to do that. I may also have really liked to do that, but I had all of these other jobs available to me to go do those instead, so I went and picked one of those that I liked even more than nursing. So the thing is like, even if that's true, in this comparison, it would not demonstrate at all that women are more nurturing because they choose the nursing. It wouldn't demonstrate
what you're saying.
that.
So you think that women have high nurturing compared to like intelligence, like their relative intelligence? Okay.
From their relative
that's
position.
fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think that their capacity for it supersedes that of men. I've never thought this.
I will agree to disagree.
I've never
then.
thought. By the way,
I disagree.
but based on what? Show me, logically demonstrate for me how it's true.
Because there isn't really like a study that can be done, because the studies that you're showing me aren't necessarily like demonstrating nurturing. Like that can be demonstrating, like you said, like
how do you demonstrate it?
I mean, it's like, it would be hard to demonstrate it through research. I think it's like, look at like animals, for example,
Well,
like how they treat their young, like how they treat their offspring. Like usually it's the mom taking care of the baby.
But in animals, I would argue that's a mechanism. These are mechanisms, not intuitive, rational decisions.
Are we not
I
animals?
think it's instinct as well for when a
Yeah, I think it's the
woman
same
gives
for
birth
humans.
to take care of her child.
Stop. Hey, hold on.